Second, our cycle of time, our civilization started in the middle of a previous flood that occurred 1656 years before the flood of Noah. And this is one of the reasons why the days in the creation started in the evening, and there was an evening and there was a morning. Now about the creation being in fact the end of a flood. By reading the text literally but correctly translated, you see that Elohim announces to Noah how he's going to bring the flood upon the earth. And he says, here I am bringing the flood, the flood. He doesn't say, here I am bringing a flood, but the flood. And this very small detail, in fact, indicates how the flood is a known thing at the time. How the flood is not something new, but it's something that is known, that already happened before. If not, it would have been written, here I am bringing a flood. No, bringing the flood. The same flood that there was before. That's one. Then, at the end of Noah's flood, we see that God promises not to repeat two things he did. First, not to destroy again mankind the way he just did, and then not to curse the soil again. But the notion of the soil being cursed is only mentioned at the time of Adam, not at the time of Noah, except from the fact that Lemech, the father of Noah, mentions the fact that the soil is being cursed, but not at the time. It was referring to the time of Adam. So here it is. After the flood, you will see that God says, that's it, I won't repeat what I've done now and what I've done at the time of Adam. This is thin, but it's here. Okay, now by logical deduction, if you see that when Noah comes out of the ark, Elohim repeats the order that he gave to Adam, if you see that he tells Noah to multiply and fructify and fill up the earth, exactly how he said it to Adam before him, so then you can make a link in between Adam and Noah coming out of an ark. This is one. Then, when you analyze the creation, what else can it be if it is the end of a flood? You see that the waters from above and from below are being separated, the way they were separated in the time of Noah after they were mixed up. Then you see the waters going down, calming down, and then you see the mountains appearing in the creation, exactly like in the Noah's time, where the waters go down and you see the peaks of the mountains. You understand? So all this in that creation is not really a creation the way we can understand it. It's more like a reorganization of a big mess, and apparently the clear end of a previous flood that occurred 1656 years before Noah. Now there is also another clue, important clue, is that in the very beginning of the creation you see that the Spirit of God was on the surface of the waters. And this very expression, al pene hamayim, on the surface of the water, is only being repeated after that to describe what? The ark floating on the surface of the waters. So this is again a fingerprint here, secretly linking the Spirit of God on the surface of the waters to an ark full of people on the surface of the water some 16 centuries later on. Now there is in Judaism a very well known and very respected Jewish scholar called Rashi. And Rashi comments that when they built the Babel Tower, they in fact had the intention of building a tower in order to survive a next coming flood. And he says in his comment that people believed then that a flood was coming every 1656 years on earth. So if that's true, how could they know that if a first flood did not occur exactly at the time of Adam, which was exactly 1656 years before Noah's flood? So this confirms a little bit what we understood through logical deduction. Now, by reading sideways, I come back to that word Bereshit, which hides Besherit, as we just saw. And if we keep on making the anagrams of the two following words, we see that the scriptures actually hide Besherit Ayam, Bara El et Hashamayim ve'et Haaretz. In the leftovers of the sea did God create the skies and the earth, which certainly refers to the fact that out of a destruction by the waters, but by what was left within the sea, did God reorganize and recreate the world. Now this reflects itself in the story of the people of Israel that crossed the Sea of Reeds, what people call the Red Sea. It is said that when they crossed it and they saw Egypt dead on the shore, and it is said that the riches, the wealth they took out of the sea at that point was even greater than the wealth they took out of Egypt. So we see there is a little bit of a reference here to the fact that that story and that history repeats itself slowly later on, and this is how you can understand the very foundation of our civilization.